Hey, welcome back to the Too Fast channel. Today we're doing another unboxing and a tabletop review of a rifle red dot sight. This is made by a company called Pinty, P-I-N-T-Y. This is part of their Pro series of products, which I guess means the best products that they offer in their lineups. It's a small red dot, 3 MOA, which includes a kill flash and bikini lens cover. Picked this up for $32.99. Carries a SKU number of or part number of DSS-0T1L-BK, and I'll put the link to this specific product in the description of the video, and you can check out their other stuff. I mean, they have rifle scopes, other red dots, risers, bipods, spotting scopes, a whole line of products. Something to keep in mind, I can't speak for all of their products, but this particular one's made in China, and that really shouldn't be a deterrent because, you know, Primary Arms, most of their stuff's made in China, and Holosun's made in China, and so on. There's a lot of these products that are made in China, and they're not all, very few are made in the USA. And you know, if you want something that's made in the USA or one of these other countries, you're going to be paying quite a bit of money for a red dot. So it depends on what your need is. You know, if you need an aim point and you want to spend $800, you know, more power to you. I picked this up just to test. I'm always trying to test different products and see what's good and what's not. And I have more AR pistols and rifles than I have red dots for, so I'm always taking stuff off of one and putting it on the other, and so on. So most of the red dots I use are, well, they're made in China. And Primary Arms and Holosun and Olight. Well, Olight doesn't make red dots, but my flashlights are Olights. Anyway, let's move on with this. Let's do some unboxing, and then I'll read some specs, and we'll just go from there. So this is more or less how it ships, with this little slip cover. Now, I gotta admit that this is the first time I've seen an inexpensive red dot that ships in a hard plastic case. Most of the red dots ship in a box, you know, with foam inside of it. Not that that's a big deal. I mean, the Holosuns and the Primary Arms ship in boxes with foam protection on them, and that's real nice. This is the first one that I've seen that ships with a hard plastic case. So probably other products out there that ship like this, but this is the first one that I've seen. So what is he saying here? It's a 3 MOA red dot sight. It's 11 brightness settings. The click value, the MOA at 50 yards is 1 MOA. Adjustable range MOA at 50 yards is 45. Parallax is 6. It looks like it uses a CR1620 battery, which is not the norm. Normally, most red dots would use a CR2032, yeah, CR2032, because I've got one sitting here on my bench. So that's kind of an odd battery for this to use. I don't know if it's better or worse. It's just odd. So let's see, what else we got in here? It's just the foam, no user manual. So it's a little reusable case there. Zip bag with 2 Allen keys, and a CR1620 battery, and it is a lithium, and it is smaller, substantially smaller than the 2032. So I don't know why they would opt to use a non-standard battery. I mean, most people have 2032s for their other firearms related parts, but so if you decide to pick up something like this, keep in mind that it uses the CR1620 battery. Now, the information on their website didn't tell me what kind of battery it used, so I'm a little surprised by this. There's a cleaning lens cloth, a yellow one, and a Ziploc bag. Okay, so at first glance, this looks like your standard 20, 22 millimeter red dot sight. You've got your standard bikini cap cover here, which is standard for most of these. You've got your rotary dial settings over here, and your top cover that screws off where your battery goes in, and that's pretty standard across the board. And you've got your windage and your elevation caps here. Now the one thing I do like right off the bat is these caps have the little nubs on them like the aim points do. That's always been a complaint of mine with the primary arms is, you know, their caps don't have the little nubs on them, which are most of their sights don't have the nubs on them, which makes it real easy. You can take the cap off and put the cap on and do your adjustments. You don't need a coin or another tool. So I always thought that was pretty nice, and I've always complained that a lot of the primary arms sights didn't have that. Some of their sights do have something on them now, but not all of them. The MD-ADS, I believe, didn't have those. So this has got a removable mount on it. It's got a low profile mount, and it actually comes with a kill flash. Normally, most red dots like this don't come with a kill flash, and it would be extra if you wanted it. So obviously you can take the kill flash off. We've got a tinted lens, as you can see, which is pretty standard. So that's nice that it comes with a kill flash. And let's see what else. Just unscrew. It doesn't look like it unscrews. The finish on this, standard matte black finish. This mount's kind of standard. We've got four bolts that hold this on. Now the manufacturer, I asked about a riser for this, and they didn't have one for this. And I was a little unclear on if this was compatible with the T1 mount. We're going to find that out because I actually have a Fortis T1 mount here, which I'm going to see if it fits or not. But, you know, out of the box, this is a nice little sight for the money. Let's go ahead and get a battery in here and power this up. I have not powered this up, so I'm doing this for the first time here. Hopefully on camera. I'm working off my workbench because my main display area is occupied with another project, so this isn't the ideal spot for me to be doing this, but it'll work. Okay. So let's see, 1, 2, off, 1, 2, 5, 10, 11. Okay, 11 brightness settings. Let's dial this back down to, all right, I'll take this kill flash off. Well, it's got a very defined red dot, very similar to everything else that I've seen. The glass isn't too tinted. Let's see if we can catch that on camera. I've got it set, the brightness setting at 2, probably blown out on the camera a little bit, but you can see that you know, normally a lot of the glass on these is really heavily tinted. This one's not that bad. It's got a little bit of a tint to it, which is, you know, you're going to have a little bit of a tint to get the red dot. So I've got a little bit of a tint, but it's not that bad on the front glass. And the rear glass has kind of got that colored tint to it, which is pretty standard as well. The projector for this, if you can see it, the projector is down here at the 6 o'clock. It's an extremely low profile projector, and it's barely sticking up. So if you were to run this with a 1/3 co-witness with your irons, I don't believe the projector, that's probably not the correct term for it. I forget what the term is for it, but the I'll call it a projector, why not? The device that projects the dot so you can see it. On some red dots, they're at the 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock position over here, and some are at the 6 o'clock, and some of them stick up really far. I've actually seen a lot of red dots where, you know, they're mounted, these projectors are mounted at the 6 o'clock and they're really high, and if you try to run a 1/3 co-witness, it interferes with 1/3 co-witness. So in that situation, you got to kind of bump up to an absolute co-witness to work around that problem. But yeah, this is really low profile. I don't see that being an issue at all. The glass is clear. The red dot is crisp. I'll just crank that up to 11, and that's at 11. So the clicks on this dial, this is standard. You get solid clicks, and it does take some effort to move this, so that you're not going to bump this and have these have this move. Now, as far as I know, this doesn't have. I don't have a. This information is kind of sparse. I don't have any information about how long this battery would last if you left it in the on position, and I can't even make a guesstimate because all the information I'm familiar with is with the 2032 batteries, not the 1620. So I have no idea how long this battery would last if you were to leave it on. Also, I don't believe this has any type of auto shutoff. Remember, this is $32.99, so you can't expect a lot of those high-end features for $32.99. So it is what it is. Let's see if I've got any information that I can read off my data sheet. All right, so $32.99. It looks like this month for September, you get free shipping. So you could buy this site, get free shipping, and I'm assuming no tax. I didn't pay tax. Their website is pintydevices.com. I'll put that in the description. A 22 millimeter lens, fits on standard 20 millimeter Picatinny rails. I mean, we know that. And of course, it's got the kill flash on it, or they call it an anti-reflective device, an ARD. I call it a kill flash. Says it's shockproof, aircraft grade aluminum. Yeah, it looks like a 6000 series aluminum to me, from what I can tell. Durable metal screw-in protection. Says it's fog-proof and waterproof. Doesn't give me an IP rating. Doesn't say, you know, is it splash-proof? Can I, you know, put it on a rifle and go swimming with it? Doesn't say. The weight is 4.7 ounces or 1.34 grams. It's shock resistant. It's supposedly tested for 223556. So this isn't airsoft specific, which a lot of people assume that a lot of these products are airsoft only. So what I've seen so far, this looks good. I like the fact that it comes with the kill flash on it. That's a nice little bonus. It's too bad that this doesn't include a riser. I mean, there's not a lot of ARs that are going to be able to use this low profile mount, especially if you want to co-witness with irons. So so far so good. The bikini cap cover, this is kind of standard. A lot of red dots have these. I don't know what to say about that. It does include both of the tools. This standard mount right here is about 2 inches. It's got a single screw and this small little piece that clamps onto your rail. I've never really been a big fan of that because I always like on this Fortis right here. See how we got 2 screws here and this whole assembly here moves back? To me, this provides a better clamping surface, and I always prefer this type of a configuration versus this little single bolt with, you know, this small little clamping piece. So I'm sure this will be just fine for most scenarios. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take this off, and then we'll come back and we'll see if the T1 mount will actually go on here so I can actually use it. Alright, here's where we're at with mounting this onto a T1 mount, or putting this red dot on a T1 mount. So some good news is you can see I've got it bolted on there. So it does fit and the holes line up. I'll take this off and I'll show you, but there is a bit of a problem using a T1 mount out of the box. And let's see if I can get that in frame. You see that? And you see the gaps right there? That's because the T1 mount has a notch in the center, and that notch would fit into a recess on your red dot. This red dot does not have that recess. So the notch either would need to be ground down, which would be the easiest thing to do, or you would need to machine a notch into the red dot. Probably not a good idea to do that into the red dot. It's a lot easier to machine the notch off of the mount. So this mount is actually off of another rifle. I'm going to have to buy a T1 mount specifically for this red dot, and I'll probably end up having to do that. Not a big deal if you have a Dremel. You can go in there and grind it down. There are 4 bolts that bolted into place, so the notch isn't really necessary to keep the sight from moving around. Plus, as you can see, it's basically going to, once it's tightened down into the channel of this mount, it can't move left or right. So the notch is, I don't know why the notch is there. It's probably for some proprietary reason, so people don't use aim points sights with, or aim point mounts with other sights or something. It's probably some patent or issue there. But anyway, so you can use a T1 mount with a small bit of modification. It'll bolt onto this. I am using the screws that it only has one length of screw, which is the screws that were used for this mount. Pretty good looking sight once you get it on the mount. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and take this back off, and I'll show you what I'm talking about with the notch on the sight, or notch on the riser for the sight. Okay, I've got the Pinty red dot mounted on this pistol right here with the low rise riser. Obviously not suitable for this because there's no way my irons are going to work. Let's get that in frame there. Yeah, definitely I run this rifle with a Primary Arms MD-80S with on that Fortis mount that I was showing you earlier. So I run Absolute Call Witness on all my rifles. This particular rifle pistol, this particular pistol has a gas block iron sight on it, standard AR style. So I can't even, this isn't even usable. So you can see my sight picture with the red dot is right here. So definitely not usable on this rifle, but you can get an idea of what it looks like with the kill flash on it. So it's a standard good looking red dot sight. Fits on the Picatinny rail fine. Even this low height riser right here, it's nice and tight, doesn't move around. So I'd probably put some blue Loctite on that if I was going to use this, like I do with all the screws. But anyway, that's about going to wrap it up for this Pinty Pro Series 22mm red dot sight. Again, available for $32.99 off their website. I'll put the link in the description. If you buy something this month from them, you get free shipping. So it doesn't have to be this particular red dot. They've got other red dots and rifle sights and so on. So you can get free shipping on anything. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.